All right, today we're climbing one of the most incredible structures in the ancient world, the rock fortress of Sigiriya in Sri Lanka. It's part palace, part fortress, and it's at the center of a story of betrayal so wild you'd think it was made up. Let's get into it.
I mean, just look at this thing. It's a gigantic column of rock, shooting 180 meters. That's almost 600 feet, straight up out of the jungle floor. This isn't just a mountain, you know. It was a fortress in the sky, a whole capital city built on top of a single rock. The scale is absolutely mind-blowing, but the story of why it was built here, well, that's even crazier.
And there it is. This is the heart of the story. This stunning creation wasn't born out of some grand vision for the future. It was born out of pure, gut-wrenching fear. A king, Kashyapa, did the unthinkable. He murdered his own father. And this entire spectacular complex was his paranoid, desperate attempt to escape the consequences.
So, what is this place, really? Let's start with the name, Sigiriya, or Sinhagiri. That gives us our first big clue. It means Lion Rock.
Okay, so officially, Sigiriya is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And yeah, that makes sense. It's seen as a masterpiece of urban planning from the first millennium. It's a palace, a fortress, and a city, all designed to work with this massive rock it was built on. But that description, honestly, doesn't even begin to do it justice.
Now, let's dive back into that dark family drama, because this whole thing isn't just about impressive buildings. It's a story of a power grab that literally shaped stone and history.
This timeline just lays it all out so starkly. In 477 CE, Prince Kashyapa, who wasn't even the main heir, seizes power by walling his own father up alive. Just brutal. His half-brother, the rightful heir, Magellan, escapes and swears he's coming back for revenge. So for the next 18 years, Kashyapa is just consumed by fear, pouring every resource he has into building this supposedly unbreakable fortress. But in 495 CE, his worst nightmare comes true. Magellan returns with an army, Kashyapa's own forces desert him, and he ends up taking his own life right there on the battlefield.
So what does 18 years of royal paranoia and a bottomless budget actually create? Let's take a look at the incredible defenses of this fortress in the sky.
And here it is. This is where the name Lion Rock came from. To get to the palace at the very top, you had to walk through a gateway built to look like a massive lion. These huge paws are what's left today, but just try to imagine it back then, with a gigantic lion's head carved above them. What an unbelievably intimidating thing to have to walk through.
The whole design was just brilliant. The entire complex was layered for defense. You had these huge moats at the bottom, then you had to get to the mid-level terrace, which was guarded by that giant lion, all before you could even think about reaching the main palace on the flat summit. They even carved giant water tanks right into the rock so they could withstand a siege, and had massive boulders just waiting to be pushed down on anyone who dared to attack.
But here's the fascinating twist in the story. Even though Sigiriya was a fortress built from fear, it was also a place of absolutely stunning beauty, a true palace of wonders.
In a sheltered pocket on the side of the rock, Kashyapa had these incredible frescoes painted. We still don't know for sure who they are. Are they celestial nymphs? Are they portraits of the women in his own court? Nobody knows. But their beauty and unique style have just fascinated people for more than 1,500 years.
And get this, what we can see today is just a tiny fraction of what was there originally. As the historian John Still put it back in 1907, the entire rock face was basically the world's largest picture gallery. Ancient graffiti talks about seeing some 500 of these painted women, covering a space 140 meters long and 40 meters high. Just unbelievable. Now check this out. This is the mirror wall. It was built with brick and then covered in a special white plaster that was polished so much that King Kashyapa could supposedly see his own reflection as he walked by. But over the centuries, it became something else entirely.
Visitors who came to Sigiriya long after Kashyapa was gone started scribbling their thoughts and poems about the beautiful frescoes right onto this wall. This one from the 8th century compares the feeling of seeing the paintings to a bee finding a perfect lotus flower. It's like an ancient comment section. We're reading the actual emotional reactions of people from over 1,000 years ago.
And it wasn't all just men praising their beauty. Listen to this verse, written by a female visitor. You can feel the emotion, the jealousy, right through the centuries. She feels like the painted woman is her rival. It just goes to show how powerful and lifelike this art was to everyone who saw it.
As if the art wasn't enough, Sigiriya is also home to some of the oldest landscaped gardens in the world. They were designed in 3 distinct styles. You had the super symmetrical water gardens, the more natural and winding boulder gardens, and the beautiful terraced gardens that climbed up the base of the rock. And the engineering was just brilliant. Look at the perfect geometry of those water gardens from above. These complex hydraulic systems, all powered by gravity from a man-made lake to run fountains and keep all the pools filled. And what's wild is that some of these ancient systems still work today when it rains. It was the perfect fusion of human design and the natural landscape.
So after King Kashyapa's dramatic end, you might think the story is over. But for Sigiriya, it was really just the beginning of a whole new chapter. Let's see how this place has echoed through time.
Right after Kashyapa was defeated, his victorious brother turned Sigiriya over to Buddhist monks. It became a monastery for hundreds of years, until it was eventually abandoned and just completely swallowed by the jungle. It was basically lost to the world until 1831, when a British major just stumbled upon it. And then finally, in 1982, it got the global recognition it deserved.
Today, over 1 million people every single year make the journey to climb that rock and see it for themselves. They're continuing a tradition of awestruck visitors that started not long after the paint on those frescoes had dried.
So what do we make of Sigiriya? Is it just a monument to one man's guilt and paranoia? Or does its incredible art, its genius-level engineering, and its sheer beauty make it something more? A timeless testament to what humans are capable of creating? You know, maybe the answer is that it's both, and that's what makes it a place you never ever forget.